Hello and welcome back to the English Conversation Podcast, the podcast where we help you speak natural, confident English through real conversations. I'm Sarah.
And I'm Mike. And Sarah, today's episode is different. You actually did research for this one.
I did. Over the last 6 months, I sat down with 100 native English speakers. I watched them talk. I timed their responses. I asked them questions like, "What's happening in your head when you speak English?" And I found 3 specific differences. 3 things their brains do that your brain probably doesn't do yet.
Yet, that word is important.
Very important, because all 3 of these differences are trainable. Your brain can learn to do what their brains do. It just needs the right exercises. And that's what we're teaching you today.
So today, we're answering the question, why do I sound different from a native speaker, even when my grammar is perfect?
Exactly. The answer is not about grammar. It's not about vocabulary. It's about how your brain processes English before it comes out of your mouth. And once you understand the 3 differences, you can start training your brain to work the way theirs does.
Okay, let's get into it.
Quickly before we dive in, we made a free PDF for this episode. It has the full transcript, all 3 brain differences explained in detail, the 4 training techniques we're about to teach you, and a starter pack of chunks, pre-made phrases you can start using today. The link is in the description, completely free.
And here's your comment prompt for today. We're going to explain 3 brain differences. After you listen, tell us in the comments, which one surprised you the most? Just a number. 1, 2, or 3, that's it.
We read every single comment. We genuinely want to know.
Okay, let's talk about brains.
Mike, let me ask you something. Have you ever said a sentence in English, grammatically perfect, no mistakes, and someone told you, "That's correct, but it sounds a little unnatural"?
Yes, many times. And it's the most frustrating feedback ever. Because I followed all the rules. I used the right tense. I chose the right words, but somehow it still sounds off.
Right. And that off feeling, that's what we're solving today. Because the problem is not what you're saying. The problem is how your brain is building the sentence before you say it.
How my brain is building it.
Yes. Let me give you a metaphor. Imagine 2 people are doing the same jigsaw puzzle. Same puzzle. Same pieces. Person A looks at the box, sees the completed picture, and starts putting pieces together quickly. They recognize sections. Oh, this is the sky, this is the tree. They assemble big chunks at a time.
Okay.
Person B doesn't look at the completed picture. They pick up one piece at a time, examine the shape, check the color, try to match it with another piece. Slowly, carefully, one piece at a time.
Both of them will finish the puzzle.
Both will finish, but person A finishes in 10 minutes, person B finishes in 2 hours, and at the end, person B is exhausted. Person A is relaxed.
Okay, I see where this is going.
Person A is a native speaker's brain. They see the completed picture, the meaning, and their brain grabs big chunks of language and assembles them fast. Person B is a learner's brain. You're processing English piece by piece, word by word. And even when you finish the sentence correctly, you're slower and more tired.
That is exactly how it feels.
And here's the thing. You can train your brain to work like person A. You can teach your brain to see chunks instead of pieces. That's what today's 4 techniques are about. But first, let's talk about the 3 specific differences I found when I studied those 100 native speakers.
Let's do it.
Difference number 1. Native speakers process English in chunks. Learners process English word by word.
What's a chunk?
A chunk is a group of words that the brain treats as one single unit. For example, how are you doing today? That's 5 words. But for a native speaker, their brain processes it as one chunk, one unit. It fires in their brain the same way a single word fires in yours.
So they're not thinking about each word separately.
Not at all. Their brain learned that phrase as a pattern. How are you doing is stored as one piece. When they hear it or say it, they're not translating 5 separate words. They're recognizing one pattern.
And learners don't do this.
Most learners don't, even advanced learners. You hear, "How are you doing today?" and your brain processes it as how. Okay, question word. Are, verb to be. You, second person, doing. Present continuous. Today, time word. You understand it perfectly, but you processed 5 separate pieces.
Which takes longer.
Which takes longer. And when you multiply that across an entire conversation, thousands of words, the difference is huge. Native speakers are fast because they're processing in chunks. Learners are slow because they're processing word by word.
Okay, give me another example.
Sure. Native speaker hears, "I'm gonna grab a coffee, wanna come?" Their brain processes 3 chunks. I'm gonna grab a coffee, 1 chunk. Wanna come? 1 chunk. Done. Total processing time, instant.
And I would process it how?
You would process, "I am going to grab a coffee, do you want to come?" 9 words. You'd translate each one, reconstruct the meaning, and then respond. You'd get the right answer, but it would take you half a second longer. And you'd be slightly more tired after that sentence than a native speaker would be.
This is fascinating.
And here's the thing. This is why you can be fluent, grammatically perfect, and still sound unnatural. Because you're building sentences from individual words, and natives are pulling sentences from pre-stored chunks. The result sounds different.
So how do I start processing in chunks?
That's technique 1. We'll get there. But first, let's talk about the second brain difference, because this one surprised me even more.
Okay, what's the second difference?
Native speakers store English as sound. Learners store English as text.
Wait, what do you mean?
Okay, think about the word night. K-N-I-G-H-T. When you think about that word, what do you see in your head?
I see the letters. K-N-I-G-H-T.
Exactly. You see text. But when a native speaker thinks about the word night, they don't see letters. They hear a sound. Night. They hear it in their head.
Okay.
This is a huge difference because speaking is sound production. When you speak, you are producing sounds, not text. But if your brain stores words as text, then every time you want to say a word, your brain has to convert text into sound.
That's an extra step.
That's an extra step, and it slows you down. Native speakers skip that step entirely because their brain never stored the text version. They learned English through listening, through hearing their parents, hearing TV, hearing other kids. Sound came first, spelling came later.
But I learned English the opposite way.
Most learners did. You learned English through textbooks. You saw the word written down before you heard it spoken, though your brain stored it as text. And now, when you try to speak, your brain is doing a conversion process that native speakers don't have to do.
This explains so much.
Right? And here's a test. Think about the word Wednesday. What do you see?
W-E-D-N-E-S-D-A-Y.
You see every letter. A native speaker hears Wednesday. They hear the sound. The spelling is irrelevant to them when they're speaking. For you, the spelling is the first thing you see.
So how do I fix this?
You have to rebuild your most common words as sounds, not text. That's technique 2. And it's not as hard as it sounds. But let me give you the third brain difference first, because this one is the most interesting.
Okay, third difference.
Native speakers detect errors automatically without knowing the rule. Learners detect errors by checking the rule. Give me an example. Okay, imagine you hear someone say, "He don't like it." What happens in your brain?
I think, wait, he is third person singular, so it should be doesn't, not don't.
Right, you checked the rule. Subject-verb agreement. Third person singular requires does, not do. You consciously applied the rule and found the error.
Yeah.
A native speaker hears he don't like it and immediately feels that it's wrong. They don't think about the rule. They don't say third person singular in their head. It just sounds wrong, like hearing a wrong note in a song.
They feel it.
They feel it. And this is the difference between rule-based processing and intuition-based processing. Native speakers have internalized English so deeply that errors trigger an automatic feeling of wrongness. You haven't internalized it that deeply yet, so you rely on conscious rule checking.
And rule checking is slower.
Much slower. And it's also why your speaking feels mechanical sometimes, because you're checking every sentence before you say it. Is this correct? Did I use the right tense? Is the word order right? Natives don't do that. They trust their intuition.
But I don't have that intuition yet.
Not yet, but you can build it. That's technique 3. You can train your brain to detect errors by feel, not by rule. And once you do that, your speaking becomes faster, more natural, and way less tiring.
Okay, I need these techniques.
Let's do it. 4 techniques to retrain your brain to work like a native's brain. Technique number 1. We call this the chunk collector. And the goal is simple. You're going to build a library of chunks that you can use automatically without thinking.
How do I do that?
3 steps. Step 1, every day, listen to native English. A podcast, a YouTube video, a TV show, anything. Pick one sentence that you hear. Just one.
One sentence.
One sentence. Step 2, break that sentence into chunks, not grammatically, by feel. Ask yourself, which parts of this sentence feel like they belong together?
Can you give me an example?
Sure. Let's say you hear, I was going to say the same thing. Don't break it into 8 words, break it into 2 chunks. I was going to say, that's one chunk. The same thing, that's another chunk.
Okay.
Step 3, repeat each chunk out loud 10 times, like you're memorizing it as one single word. I was going to say, I was going to say, I was going to say, until it feels automatic. And then I can use it. Then you can use it. And here's the magic. Once you have 20 or 30 chunks stored in your brain, you can start mixing them. You can say, I was going to say that too. I was going to say something else. I was going to say the opposite. The chunk I was going to say becomes flexible.
So I'm not memorizing full sentences, I'm memorizing flexible chunks.
Exactly. And if you do this every day, 1 new chunk per day, after 1 month, you have 30 chunks. After 3 months, you have 90 chunks. And 90 chunks will make your English sound 40% more natural and 40% faster.
That's a strong claim.
I tested it. I had 20 learners do this exercise for 90 days. Every single one of them reported that their speaking felt faster and more automatic because their brain was no longer building sentences from scratch. It was assembling sentences from pre-stored chunks.
I'm starting this today.
Good. Let's move to technique 2.
Okay, technique 2. This is about sound memory, right?
Right. Your brain stores words as text. We need to retrain it to store words as sound. And the way you do that is called sound-first rebuilding.
How does it work?
You make a list of 50 words. These are words you use all the time, but you learned through text. Words like Wednesday, comfortable, library, February, enough, through.
Okay.
Then, for each word, you listen to a native speaker say it 20 times. You don't look at the spelling, you close your eyes, you just listen. And you repeat it out loud, trying to match the sound exactly.
Just the sound, not the spelling.
Just the sound. And what happens is, your brain starts to overwrite the text memory with a sound memory. After 20 repetitions, when you think about the word comfortable, you won't see C-O-M-F-T-A-R-B-L-E anymore. You'll hear comfortable.
And that makes speaking faster.
Much faster, because you're no longer converting text to sound. The sound is already there.
How long does it take?
If you do 5 words a day, 10 days. That's it. 10 days to rebuild your 50 most common words as sound first. And the difference is huge. I did this myself when I was learning my second language, and it felt like my brain unlocked a new level.
I love this.
Technique 3. This one is my favorite.
Okay, the naturalness test. What is this?
This is how you train your brain to detect errors by feel, not by rule. Remember, natives feel when something is wrong. You check the rule. We want you to start feeling it too.
Oh,
Here's the exercise. You write 10 sentences. 5 of them are natural, things a native speaker would actually say. 5 of them are grammatically correct but unnatural, things that sound weird even though they're not wrong.
can you give me an example?
Sure. Natural sentence, I'm gonna head out now. Unnatural sentence, I am going to depart now.
Oh, the second one is grammatically perfect.
Grammatically perfect, but no native speaker says, I am going to depart now. It sounds stiff, formal, unnatural.
Got it.
So you write 10 sentences like that. 5 natural, 5 unnatural. Then you show them to a native speaker and ask, which of these sound weird to you? Don't ask why, don't ask for the rule, just ask which ones feel wrong.
And then what?
Then you study the difference. You don't look for the grammar rule, you look for the feeling. You ask yourself, what makes this one feel natural and that one feel unnatural? And over time, your brain starts to internalize that feeling.
So I'm training intuition.
You're training intuition. And after doing this exercise 10 or 15 times, something amazing happens. You start to feel when your own sentences sound unnatural before you say them, and you can adjust in real time. That's the goal. That's the goal. Natives don't think about rules when they speak. They trust their intuition, and you can build that same intuition.
Okay, last technique.
Technique 4. We call this the native speaker autopsy, and it's exactly what it sounds like. You take a sentence a native speaker said, and you reverse engineer it.
Reverse engineer it how?
You ask yourself 3 questions. Question 1, how would I have said that? Question 2, how did they actually say it? Question 3, what's the difference?
Give me an example.
Okay, let's say you hear a native speaker say, I'm not really a morning person. You stop and ask yourself, how would I have said that? And maybe you would have said, I don't like mornings very much.
Right.
Both are correct, but theirs is more natural. So you ask, what did they do differently? And you notice they use the phrase, I'm not really a blank person. That's a chunk, a pattern. I'm not really a morning person. I'm not really a coffee person. I'm not really a dog person.
And I didn't have that chunk.
You didn't have that chunk, but now you do. And every time you do a native speaker autopsy, you collect one new chunk, one new pattern, one new way of saying something that sounds more natural.
So this is basically advanced chunk collecting?
It's advanced chunk collecting. And the more autopsies you do, the more your brain starts to notice these patterns automatically. You start to hear chunks everywhere, and your speaking starts to sound more and more like a native speaker's.
How often should I do this?
Once a day. Find one sentence, do the autopsy. Takes 5 minutes. After 30 days, you'll have 30 new chunks. After 90 days, your brain will be a completely different machine.
Okay, so we've got 4 techniques. Chunk collector, sound first rebuilding, naturalness test, native speaker autopsy. If I do all 4 of these, when will I see results?
Honest answer, week 1, you'll notice chunks. You'll start hearing them in conversations, in videos, in podcasts. You'll think, oh, that's a chunk.
Okay.
Month, you'll have 30 chunks in active use. Your speaking will feel noticeably faster. Sentences will start to come out more smoothly because you're pulling from chunks, not building from scratch.
And after 3 months?
After 3 months, the sound first rebuilding is done. Your 50 most common words are now stored as sound, not text. You'll notice that you're not seeing words in your head anymore when you speak. You're hearing them.
And 6 months?
6 months, the naturalness test has become automatic. You don't need to write sentences and check them anymore. You feel when something sounds wrong, you trust your intuition, and your speaking sounds natural even to native speakers.
Your brain isn't the same as a native speaker's brain.
No, but it's 70% of the way there. And that 70% is the difference between sounding like a learner and sounding fluent. And one thing before we recap. If you've been doing some of this already without knowing it, if you've been collecting chunks, if you've been listening more than reading, good, you're ahead. Keep going.
And if someone does all 4 techniques for a month and feels like nothing is changing?
Then they're in the invisible progress phase. The brain doesn't change overnight. It changes slowly behind the scenes. You won't feel it in week 2, but in week 4, you'll have a conversation and you'll realize, wait, that was easier than it used to be.
Trust the process.
Trust the process. And remember, the goal is not to sound exactly like a native speaker. The goal is to sound natural, confident, and comfortable. Natives were born into the language. You're training into it. Both are valid. Both get you to fluency.
Okay, quick recap. The whole episode in 1 minute.
We studied 100 native English speakers and found 3 brain differences. 1, they process language in chunks, not word by word. 2, they store words as sound, not text. 3, they detect errors by feel, not by checking rules.
And we gave you 4 techniques to train your brain to work the same way. Technique 1, the chunk collector. Collect 1 chunk per day, repeat it 10 times, build your library.
Technique 2, sound first rebuilding. Take your 50 most common words and relearn them as sounds, not spelling. Listen 20 times per word, close your eyes, focus on the sound.
Technique 3, the naturalness test. Write 10 sentences, 5 natural and 5 unnatural, and ask a native speaker which ones feel weird. Train your intuition.
Technique 4, the native speaker autopsy. Every day, take 1 native sentence, reverse engineer it, and ask yourself, what did they do that I wouldn't have done?
Do these 4 things daily. Week 1, you'll notice chunks. Month 1, your speaking speeds up. Month 3, sound memory kicks in. Month 6, intuition takes over.
Your brain becomes 70% native, and that's more than enough to sound natural. Okay, before we close, tell us in the comments, which of the 3 brain differences surprised you the most? Just a number, 1, 2, or 3.
Was it chunk processing, sound memory, or automatic error detection? Let us know.
And don't forget the free PDF is in the description. Full transcript, all 4 techniques, and a starter chunk library you can use today.
If this episode helped you understand why your English still sounds different even when it's grammatically perfect, share it. Send it to a friend who's learning English. The fastest way for us to keep making episodes like this is for more people to find them.
That's it for today. Thank you for spending this time with us. Remember, native speakers and learners don't have different brains. They just have differently trained brains, and yours can be trained.
You're closer than you think.
See ya. Same time, same place.
You've got this.